What's up YouTube? My name is Elijah Essex and I'm back with another video. In today's video, we are doing my NBA playoff predictions for the 2024-2025 season. Now, y'all, we know that this season has been very crazy, whether it came from blockbuster trades, whether it came from coaches getting fired, whether it came from player injuries, whatever the case may be. We all know that this season is one of the best seasons so far. Now, that just means that the playoffs are going to be even crazier. Now, throughout this video, I'm going to break down why I'm picking teams to move on, and hopefully I can make a perfect bracket. So let's see how I do. All right, you guys, for the first round matchup, we had the Thunder either going against the Grizzlies or the Dallas Mavericks. By the time I'm recording this game has not been played between the Grizzlies and Mavericks, but I personally think that the Grizzlies will move on. And if it is Dallas, I honestly don't think it's going to change much. I think the Thunder have been playing amazing this year, and I go to school in Oklahoma, and just seeing the support that they get every single game, I feel like it's going to be hard for either team to go in and really take the series. With that being said, honestly, the Dallas Mavericks could win the play-in game, or the Grizzlies. I honestly don't think it's going to do much. The Thunder, they're just so good this year. Their defense is really top tier. You know, you got the MVP and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And, with additions like Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet coming back from the hip injury early in the year, and players like Lu Dort and Jalen Williams stepping up into their roles, I think it's just going to be hard for any team to beat them, especially in the first round. So with that being said, I have the Thunder moving on, beating the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies are going to win that play-in game. But I think that the Thunder will take this series in 5, maybe even 4. All right, you guys. Next, we have the Clippers versus the Nuggets. Now, I think that this series is going to be great. I know that the Nuggets just fired their head coach and GM and everything like that. But when you have somebody like Nikola Jokic on your team, I feel like it's kind of hard to go against him, knowing the past that he has with the team and the performances that we've seen in the playoffs. This Nuggets team just won a championship not too long ago, with the same pieces that they have now. Honestly, I think if they want to make a run in this playoffs, their key players are going to have to be in Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. Yes, I know that Jamal Murray has to go out there and play. He has to go out there and hoop. Obviously, we all know Jokic is going to do his thing. But with Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon, they're going to have to help Jokic on those boards, because Jokic is going to be so busy guarding pick and roll with James Harden and Zubac. I honestly think that those two are really going to have to step up. Also, it's going to be interesting to see how much they use Russell Westbrook. I'm a huge Russell Westbrook fan, but I do know that there are times where he doesn't have the best of games. So we're going to have to see how much they use him, how big of a role he plays, especially when Jokic is off the floor. Now, with the Clippers, I haven't watched too many Clippers games this year, but I am aware of how well they've been playing. James Harden, he's been hooping as of recently. He's having great games with a lot of assists and carrying the team in points, as well as Norman Powell. Before his injury, Norman Powell was looking like he could have been an all-star. Kawhi Leonard has been playing a lot better recently down this last stretch than he has all season. And that's not saying that he hasn't been playing good all season, but that's just showing you that he can be at that top level like he was years ago. Now, I honestly think that it comes down to Kawhi Leonard in the long run. I think it comes down to Kawhi Leonard and his availability, if he's going to be hurt throughout the series, if he's not going to be hurt throughout the series. I think it's going to play a huge role. I think in the long run, I just see the Thunder matching up against the Clippers more than I do see the Thunder matching up against the Nuggets. So I have this series going to 6 with the Clippers winning. All right, you guys. Next, we have the Los Angeles Lakers going against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, I honestly think this will be a good series, and I'm a huge Laker fan. But I will admit, Anthony Edwards is one of the best, if not the best, shooting guard in the league right now. Now, the Timberwolves do have more wins than losses against the Lakers this season. But since the Luka trade, the Lakers have been 1-0 against the Timberwolves. And we all know that it's hard to go against playoff Luka and playoff LeBron. They're two amazing players that show out throughout the playoffs. But when you have somebody like Luka and LeBron on your team that are able to facilitate the offense, run the game as well as they do, it's going to be hard to stop that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Edwards can pull off a win. So I got the Lakers winning in 5. All right, you guys. Next, we have the Warriors versus the Rockets. And like I've been saying with these past series, I think a lot of these series are really good. But I think this one's going to have more intensity and a lot more defense than there is offense. I will not lie. I have not watched a lot of Rockets games this season. And it's not because they're not a good team. They're the number 2 seed in the West. They just don't have a superstar right now that I'm tuning into to watch every single night. And that's no discredit to Jalen Green or Sengun or Amen Thompson. Those are amazing players that they have on their team, and they have a well-rounded team. But it's just not enough for me to tune in and really watch how they've been performing. We've seen how Steph Curry can really go off in the playoffs, and everybody talks about playoff Jimmy, but I think this is going to come down to Draymond Green, and I mean that wholeheartedly. The Rockets did a really good job of containing Curry. I think they held him to 3 points last game, 2 points the last time they saw each other. But with Steph Curry, I feel like you're not going to do that so many times throughout a playoff series that it's really going to knock their team off. I think that this game will either go to 6 or 7, but I still have the Warriors moving on. All right, you guys, now we're moving on to the east side of the playoffs. First matchup that I have is the Cavs versus the Heat. And yes, I know that the Hawks and Heat still have to play their play-in game, but seeing how they played the other night, I honestly don't think that the Hawks are moving on. With the East, I don't think it's as difficult to pick between these teams as it was the West. I think the Cavs are going to sweep either team that they play. If they play the Heat, they're going to sweep them. If they play the Hawks, they're going to sweep them. Next, we have the Bucks versus the Indiana Pacers. I think this is going to be a great series just because of the past between these two teams. We just got reports that Damian Lillard is available to play in this series. Now, how do I feel about that as a fan? I honestly think that Damian Lillard shouldn't play at all the rest of the season. The Bucks have actually won 3 games against the Pacers this year. Now, the only loss that they had against them came from that amazing game winner by Tyrese Halliburton. I can't lie, that was a great shot. As much as I love Giannis as a player in the league, I honestly think that this is going to be one of the hardest series that he's had to go through. But I do have the Bucks moving on in 7 games. All right, you guys, next we have the Pistons versus the Knicks. I think earlier in the season, if you asked me who's going to win, the Pistons or the Knicks, I obviously would have picked the Knicks. But we've seen the jump that the Pistons made this season, and it's actually very impressive. Cade Cunningham has been leading that team in every category that you could think of. And when you have people like Asar Thompson and Malik Beasley going out there and hooping alongside Cade, it's going to be hard to stop that team. But the Knicks are no stranger to the playoffs. Y'all know Thibodeau and how much he loves to play his starters and give them all these minutes. We'll have to see how that affects their team. But I think the Knicks are just too talented as far as scoring and their chemistry that they have. I think that the Knicks are going to move on. I think that the Knicks move on in 5. The last playoff series that we have for the East, we have the Celtics versus the Magic. It's not much to say in this. The Celtics still looking dominant as ever. I'm honestly surprised that they didn't get the #1 seed this year, but that doesn't matter. You have Jason Tatum, you have Jaylen Brown. You're basically bringing back everybody that you just won a championship with. And they don't look like they're slowing down at any point. And that hurts to say as a Laker fan. I think that the Celtics are going to sweep the Magic. And that's no discredit to the Magic at all. They're a great team. But I just think that the Celtics are just a lot more dominant than the Magic will be. So I had the Celtics sweeping them. All right, you guys. Next, we move into the conference semifinals for both conferences. First, we're going to head back over to the West. And for me, I have the Clippers going against the Thunder. Thunder are 4-0 against the Clippers throughout the regular season. But throughout those games, they have not seen the Clippers when they were fully healthy. I just don't know if the Thunder are going to be able to move on past the Clippers. Clippers just have a little bit more experience. I'm going to say that this game goes to 6. I have the Clippers moving on in this series. Now, we have the Warriors versus the Lakers. And if this pans out, it's just another LeBron versus Steph Curry matchup masterclass. Whether it's in the regular season, whether it's in the All-Star game, whether it's in the playoffs, both these guys have a great pass against each other. Earlier, I mentioned I'm a Lakers fan, and I don't want to be biased, but I honestly think that the Lakers are going to take this in 5, maybe 6 if the Warriors get lucky. Next, we have the Cavs going against the Bucks. The Cavs are very dominant. I think whether they were going against the Pacers or the Bucks, they're going to move on to the next round. The Bucks might give them a run for their money and maybe get 1 game, but I just think the Cavs are going to be a little bit too dominant. The Cavs moving on in 5. Then we have the Celtics going against the Knicks. I think this could be a pretty competitive series. I still just think that the Celtics are a little bit too dominant to go against teams in the East. I know I said this would be a competitive series, but I think that the Celtics are going to beat the Knicks in 5. All right, you guys. Now we head back over to the West where we go to the conference finals. Here I have the Lakers going against the Clippers. I still do have the Lakers moving on. And like I said, I don't want to be biased. I know that I'm a Laker fan. And it may seem like that so far that I'm being biased to them. But I just think that they're too good offensively. and the mentality and intensity that LeBron and Luka play with, I feel like it would be crazy to knock them out super early, like first round. I feel like they get that momentum second round, they can move on to the third, and then hopefully can move on past that to the finals. I do have the Lakers moving on in 6 throughout this series, headed to the NBA Finals. All right, you guys, and for the conference finals in the East, we have the Cavs going against the Celtics. This is the only series that I think may go to 7, like for sure. I have the Celtics moving on in 7, headed to the finals, facing the Lakers. And now, y'all, we are headed to the NBA Finals. Now, will this happen? Lakers versus Celtics? Probably not. I probably got all of this wrong. But if this happens, Lakers versus Celtics, Adam Silver and the scriptwriters, y'all are top tier. As much as it pains me to say, as much as I don't want the Celtics to win, I ultimately do think that they will go back to back. I do think that the playoffs are going to be crazy this year. I'm excited to see how all this plays out Saturday and see where teams go from here. If you're excited, let me know down in the comments. If you would change anything about my bracket, let me know. But those are my NBA playoff predictions. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see y'all in the next video.